President-elect Donald Trump broke a decades-long diplomatic tradition by speaking directly with the President of Taiwan. In response, China has filed a formal complaint with the U.S. State Department. Back in 1979, the U.S. agreed to a so-called One China policy, cutting off diplomatic relations with Taiwan. Under that policy, the U.S. recognizes Beijing as representing China and has unofficial ties with Taiwan. Critics of Trump say it's an example of how he has taken calls with foreign leaders without guidance from the State Department. So is Trump overstepping his authority as the president-elect with regard to his foreign policy? That's our topic this half hour, and we want to hear from you on our Fox 26 Facebook page. You can weigh in on our post or on Twitter. Just send me a tweet at Sally Mack, Fox 26. Joining us live in the newsroom, our panel led by our senior legal analyst, Chris Tritico, Democratic media consultant, Mustafa Tamiz, and Republican strategist and public policy analyst, Jackie Bally. Good morning again, guys.
Good morning.
So this was a call that was made to Trump from the President of Taiwan.
That's right, and these calls don't just happen. And these are arranged, and so it's not like he just picked up the phone and hey, oh, it just happened to be the President of Taiwan. But the criticism is that without going through the State Department, that Donald Trump is usurping long-standing State Department and United States policy, diplomatic policy, and that's been the problem that the government is having here. And Jackie Bally, when you're the president-elect, you don't yet have the authority to make United States policy, and that's the issue, isn't it?
Yes, and the fact that he's not president yet, he is president-elect, and he takes a congratulatory call from the president of Taiwan, that's making news, and it shouldn't, because according to Trump and his representatives, that's what it was. Now, with all of that said, he has definitely made a firm position that there is a new president in town, and that we will see what that means in regulations and policies in that area coming up when he is elected president. But according to Trump and his representatives, it was a congratulatory call placed to him, and he accepted the call.
When the president-elect takes calls like this from the president of Taiwan in contravention to United States policy, what effect does that have?
Within 48 hours, he made a call to the president of Pakistan and said that he would love to visit his country, what a fantastic leader he is. He spoke with the president of Philippines, who's killed 2,000 people, and invited him to come to the United States and wanted to have a dinner with him. And then he took a call from president of Taiwan and said that, well, she called me, I didn't call her, as if that matters. I mean, this is amateur hour. The president-elect, in the past, always had a liaison with the State Department to make sure that these type of foreign policy faux pas didn't happen. He has that right. He can ask our State Department to be the liaison with him. He can take a daily brief every day from the National Security Council so that he is briefed on these things, but he chooses not to. Instead, he is, doing victory laps around the country, and if he would prepare himself, we all would be much better served.
Well, there's nothing wrong with taking a victory lap when you won the presidency, but let me ask you this. Richard Nixon went to China to the consternation of a whole lot of people and started relations with China. Barack Obama opened relations with Cuba and said, our policy for 50 years isn't working. I'm opening relations with Cuba. Donald Trump has the right, doesn't he, to say, I'm going to now change our foreign policy with respect to these countries. It's not working. Doesn't he have that right?
It would absolutely be his right, and potentially could even be smart if that's what his intention was. But he is basically doing this willy-nilly. And so talking to a dictator in Philippines and saying, love for you to come to the United States, is not a strategic move. And talking to Taiwan, not knowing if he's making a pivot to Taiwan or if he is just accidentally picking up the phone when he's not supposed to. That's the issue.
Let me go to Sally. She's monitoring our social media.
All right, we asked our viewers if they thought that President-elect Trump should take a call from Taiwan, and here's what some of them said. This person tweeting out, absolutely. Cindy says, I'll take Trump's thank you call from Taiwan over Obama's I'm sorry, here's money call to Iran any day of the week. Donald Trump is saying that the president of Taiwan called him, and then he added, interesting how the U.S. sells Taiwan billions of dollars of military equipment, but I should not accept a congratulatory call. And then on the very far left of the spectrum, Ann Coulter tweeting out that with his reckless Taiwan phone call, Trump has wantonly placed America's interests ahead of China's.
Wow, Ann Coulter said that. That's kind of amazing, isn't it?
Well, I think the fact that, well, first of all, everyone has an opinion, but I think a majority of those tweets are in support of the president-elect accepting that call because he has done nothing wrong. Like you said, it's within his rights to set a form of policy. He hasn't even done that. He has said, this is a congratulatory call that I accepted, and yes, there are going to be policies put in place, but we don't even know what those are yet. The fact that Taiwan is the only democracy in their region, I feel that 30 years ago we did a disservice to people in Taiwan, and I'm glad he took that call.
Let me ask you this, we're almost out of time. Doesn't he, as the president-elect, have a duty to uphold the traditions of the country and think about the United States foreign policy when he takes these calls and makes calls to dictators around the country? Real quick.
I think as president-elect, he will set the tone of the presidency, just like Barack Obama did when he went dancing on Ellen DeGeneres' show, or Bill Clinton when he played the saxophone on Arsenio Hall's show. Every president has their own tone, their own personality, and we are going to continue to see what Donald Trump does in office.
We got to go.
This is no longer about public opinion. They're nuclear-armed nations. If Donald Trump was the president during the Cuban Missile Crisis, where would we be today?
All right, we got to leave it right there. We'll be back next week, wrapping up the hottest stories of the week.
All right, we appreciate it. Have a great Sunday, everyone.